收錢啦，跟住嗰人嘅嘢，啱啱幾有佢先。
Sao xem à?
Hả?
Sao xem à?
啱幾有佢先。
Mang trả lúc gì? Hả? Mang trả lúc gì? Mang trả lúc gì? Ô mìa.
Good morning, chào Titi.
Ê, xin chào cô.
chiều ấy là bố chuyện
Không lẽ không hành nữa.
thì bà tự chết với cái gì
Ê, chính cái tuổi này, thì này, chú có mấy bố cậu cái này bố cậu ấy.
Chắc khi cậu.
hả
Chắc khi cậu nó bị yếu. Bị im.
Ủa là con luôn mà.
thầy mới phải mà chờ cảm ơn một bạn phải nhớ đi tỷ phân mày con không cầu này chờ cấm xong thế cấm chuyện nào mình thầy có mà
Yên Thành ở đâu đấy?
给他老婆看一下。
给老婆看一下。戴眼镜啊，梳头发梳上去，以为是 Marco 咯，插着那个腰了。等一下，开出发了是吧？
啊，这是宝呀。
他出发了是吧？
当初你不要遇到我了嘛。
走。
啊。
過嚟啊！你這。
媽媽咧？
啱啱趕到翻嚟啊！出去買嘢係咪？
出去係啊，
去飲茶。
唔係攞嘢。
攞嘢。
佢住好近。
冚咧？
啱啊！做佢先。啊，可以揾咁咩？
要。餐鳥。
哇，水了！
點嘅？
我哋話水咧嚇。
喂，慢啲。
先打關先打機，今日是都係加成年好日子，書邊啊嚇啊！即句咧，爸爸媽媽嗰啲穿衣穿背，嗰啲穿大衫，穿得都大富大貴，榮華富貴嚇。大家爸爸媽媽行三腳腳呢，一腳腳，再腳腳，三腳腳。今日做大人了哈，來，爸爸嗰啲媽媽嗰啲穿衫嚇。學成高就此成年，先嚟希望在心中哈，就就好太太對來。叫你能為老人為恩勞混càng好混，嚟爸爸嗰度溜溜，爸爸幫你扣樓買翻幾間紅毛樓。快嚟收租嘛，俾邊啲件卡大件嘅嗬。長毛樓、前廊交，但係你搬上個門口咯嗬。
你講係字，我超你。邊有我樓？
第一次嘛，俾阿毛樓，俾潮俾樓下，俾地鐵俾點頭。要個龍鋪俾出咗好俾出新加坡俾個中國啊！啲嘢花呢，少去啲襟花咁上添花添咁啊！嚟呢邊揾你呢呢邊係產嗰啲慢慢做啲多花嚇。花開富貴大轉，榮華富貴永不穩咯嗬。花開富貴大傳，榮華富貴永不言啊！
要記字頭就唔
嗰啲記字頭 stand by 啦。嗰啲多嗰啲紅淨水機嗬。我查嘅是呢邊嚟打呢度 OK 嚇。
盡快地去後尾，揸後尾，嚟。冇啦，拎仔機飛。好ได้好時啦，應該。
應該啊。
出息哦。
安全。嚟，即手會是先打關也好最驚。今日恭喜各也超也會嚇，mà đi cho馬來西亞代頭機，就係前日特地保庇都嚟機嚇。新娘哥食下阿爸嚟先。nha bà chị hả? Đấy mami lấy chị. Cánh được cái thẻ mà hả? Chú tôi là gọi nhà cho mừng nhau là tam 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 tam
มาได้ไหม
xin nhau được rồi đó. Cái đó chậu keo mắt thì con xin keo thì con thì con thay ma cô xin cô đã chăm chăm đó rồi chị chăm rồi cô mấy tầng người tiền hả còn bỏ qua được tăng gì con chân hít xin gọi ra hồng xin duy khi một chật hay nhà ní sĩ có năng gọi giá su pin tình nín cái đại hội chỉ có hội trả cho mình cái hình chính chắc họ chắc thiên con bố bị nó gọi giá hội trả chỉ lo xuân thăm xuân này thì các cái em chắc xin giống như này người em đồ hội trả bố mình là họ chỉ chắc chắn sai chắc chắn sang chắc chắn chả nhiều á bố bị có năng nghe thì cha thì hội trả chỉ lo xuân thăm á tài cái lộ trình không tài cái tài này sần này lẻ mà mắn hại được vài câu là trong khi xin gọi học sinh duy khi gắn sĩ gọi sinh lý cái điều lý chi mới nói gọi cái su pin ha cha cao nam mô bổn sư sư cha mâu ni hoa quan phổ sát đa ni châu trái sấn ha cụ tỏ bê con quan tê con tỏ bê con mó tổng phát tài tình giá gắn sĩ gọi sinh lý cố lý chi cũng phải trả chút một cái điều chỉnh chậm họ còn những cái này của em đủ buồn nè chắc chắn sai chắc chắn sao chắc chắn chán nhiều họ thì chú còn lúc anh cho phần còn thì chú khi cháu có gõ hòn lò thì đình xin tầng hoàn tỷ chú giải xin cho nên gì vẫn đang gọi giá su pin sinh linh cái điều thì chỉ có phải trả cho mình cái hình chính cho họ chắc thì chú còn bố bị gọi bình an gì đi trước mắng tỏa cái tỏa thì kha tạ sư hồng cái thì tặng cái quân bản cho chồng sai cho chồng sai cho chồng thầy còn thầy chăm hi xin gọi ra cái này hồng sinh duy khi là cha nó mừng tổng sản lịch tài chỗ sen thay còn thay ma lại xin quả xin cho con cái này đuổi cha nó xuống nơi xuống ca xuống pin sinh lý cái này hội chỉ có phải trái trước một cái hình chính chặt họ cha bố bị cũng đang gọi trước mình gọi cái tòa lý chắc từ con như tuy này ủ én ủ bình chả hồn láng bờ cào én sinh cả tuy này chỉ kia hố thao họ láng tuy đây thằng tí loạn tim họ chán nhiều ha chỉ có phải trả cho mà cái hình chính chặt họ là họ chắc từ xin nếu thế này ông hữu ích chưa tao nói chỉ tớ bằng mình đấy hả đây có năng này cho ông ma chả đi hả chả ma chả đi thì có chuyện này đó
với buổi
trong khi ama trong khi xin ta hoa xin ta kỳ cái này tôi xuân ca ta bập ama cho papa mama nhà sang cho cần đi chỉ các trong trước lúc ăn chịu vì lao láng thêm hóc thêm xỉu ha vì các trong chế sĩ cảm謝về cũng giống nhau buồn cảm謝ama suy hạnh của các tòa hạt nó ha cái này xử lý cái này thì chỉ có phải trả cho mình cái hình chính chấp họ chắc điều gì khổ xuân sinh phụ tuy này cả ama đủ bé đủ hồn háo xuân ta qua ta kê ha tuy này theo truy theo rồi là sang các trong ta nhân tuy này phụ chi buồn nhân ai bị tháo cao là tuy này xin những ủy đoàn mình kê quy kỳ xoa giặt kèm tình hoạt chạy họ sai đó nó gọi giá chụp mình nhau họ nó xài ama gì họ sau khi bù xài mới mà ama giờ họ đi họ ok nó là ai chụp mình nhau tan hàng quá cửa hàng máy tặng mình tiền hàng nên cứ hỏi chị là để tên máy tặng hàng tăng chị cái này đừng quên là chụp mình tỏa kẹt tỏa gì ra thì gọi còn ta anh mình sẽ chia tan anh nói bà bác bị sao chị cha ba này ba tán
cái
当当当。
啊，我嘢，他真係花雞魚啫，翻嚟雙手接大財啊！
冇啦。
好。
兄弟一路順利嚟啊！上英啫嘛。這個要拍我。為什麼？
没有按出来，没有开关。
啊？
这里看到未必有报的，你知道吗？红色灯你没有亮？有啊。
你弟弟？OK， 聽日啦。
係咯。哦，有啦，大紅包定攞咗啦，攞完咗好。OK 冇，通過啊，通過咗啊。
唔通過都唔得啦。
好你睇下呢位小姐幫你，哇咁快脆過水㗎啦，
冇水散水喎。
先，恭喜今日吉時好日嚟接親啊！我哋行下位先。當當當當，我哋行過嚟先嚇，永遠新娘嘅。恭喜啊！我哋有嘢到大家見面發大財。
好，再快。啊，慢了啊，这个特别好。那这个我看着很长的路。那有厉害，我们过来这半了，他就专程一般。你们要过人工啊，就咁。
坐。
請坐。兄弟，請坐。咁啊，陪馬爹坐下。阿姨啊，代姨，嚟，入個邊嚟。
喂，過
有位啊。
好，最後嗰個係咩嚟嘅？
開單嘛。
我隻5號。
林丹嚟嘅。
冇嘢啊。
你係林丹嚟嘛？
好長我
飛咗揾嚟個。
你咁咯喎。睇先都係咁嘅樣㗎喎。
7、8、9、10、11、12。
維國咯。比較好用。
來啊，俾你啲先嚟。我可以走了嘛？我可以走了嘛？不用過來了。幫你出去看一看吧。他們在這邊不可以給他們上。Hello。哎呦，沒必要啊，你攔着啦，不要給他上，你別小便。
是不是的？
你跟
我兒子穿了尿片了。
你們跟媽媽講要小便。
他Pampers用緊啦。哇，這不就想騙了？
沒有，有沒有妹？你的兒子太簡單，可以上去拍一拍。
Sorry，
可以。
要遵守規矩一下，不然你沒有得取。
拍。
不會的，我們是 对啊，然后黄书本说很遗憾的没有玩到人家。
这是新娘子的哦。
你不要这样说啊！你不喝就下一轮到你有场。还没有搞酒哦。
这我还没在外面。
我们要等。
还有外面的人在那边啊。
还了，还了，现在上去recall一下子而已，一个人上去啦。
叫我打你的。
不可以。
很好喝的滚水饭。我也还没喝完嘞。
这个什么来的啊？水啊，水代表什么呢？
喂，是我走进来的。不可以这样子的你。
来两位啊，我走去揾你啦，係你交代。
我哋過兩節目下次一起看。
看新娘美不美乐？
啊。
你嘅頭紗你咁樣你影婚紗嘅相係點樣？線杯咁樣㗎？線杯咁樣嘢，佢係執少少啦，係咪？
不知道哦。
不会的。
是啊。
作业越来越多了。
我们是进来保护的咯。
进来了就做姊妹的。
不可以，不可以。
進來了就做姊妹啊，齊啲。OK，盡量站起來哈，站起來跟爸爸媽媽行個禮。你兩邊拿住啊。轉過來，爸爸媽媽喺嗰邊俾個信，喺左邊。啊，你影相喺你邊拿個 V 字形俾你影下。OK。恭喜陳家老爺、陳家奶奶，今日領千金出國之喜，現在爸爸媽媽親力親為幫你約咗嘅帶咗個頭紗，帶咗翻去大仔大女帶翻去旺夫益子，翻去年年都生貴子啦你同阿爸阿媽行三鞠躬禮，一鞠躬，再鞠躬，三鞠躬，我姑娘坐先啦。姑娘啊，喂，你嘅爸爸媽媽幫你一嬲嬲到尾，二嬲白髮齊眉，三嬲兒孫滿地啦，翻你夫妻啦恩恩愛愛甜甜蜜蜜啦，相親相愛同相敬，多謝老爺，陳家老爺阿姑娘俾紅包俾阿爸阿媽啦。一個紅包係俾你去做生意，買馬標買到1本萬利中咗300萬大彩中咗買屋買樓買地皮買地皮買鋪頭啦，多謝兩位啦多謝多謝。可以嗎？姐妹們？
高興了沒有？可以下沒有問題，沒有
來個姐妹來幫忙，這樣到這裡啦，
拜拜，
翻頭啊，
拜拜，
放棺頭啦，到呢度啦
過來沒有？李ถัง，係，你喺邊啊？李ถัง可以。
打咩環境？哦，天台可以上啊！
後面不會的。
誒，怎麼走出多一個來了？
不可以動的吧？
點得來啊！打
哦，弟弟不能保護我們。給個你。哦，謝謝。你放心。謝謝。謝謝他出現。
要上來了啦？
有，好了，再見了。
弟兄還是姐妹呢？
肚子餓，我去了。
哎，這邊有錄音室。
说警告来了，你可以往后面聊，行吗？
啊，这上来了，进来要换裙子。我们家的没给这裙子上来啊。
现在的女生穿裤子。
哎呦，是哦。
你不是你进去吗？喂，你叫喂。啊？
很着急回来。
他吃了什么东西给你？还有点这个。
我已经谢他了，我已经谢他。你不给？哦。我们这楼梯然后一走到这里，越来越多人知道我们的小伎俩，全部上来看一看。哦，他们在来看团鸡，要不然你看。全部在看团鸡了啦。那个鸡，我感觉都贪死了。我看，哎呀，原来这么简单。小儿科。你要听到斌哥，我简直是在里面嘛。慢慢做啊，慢慢做。那打长节都没有，好不搞我们的事吗？不用紧啦，你自己回钱哦，受不了。哎，够重了，你回钱，你回钱。不累啊，那个累。可以了吗？我们可以上来了吗？来，我跟你拍一张那嘛。200个。他的样子是什么？起来呀。
应该是有吧。
啊，应该是有吧？哇。你年轻就是这样的，那就是。Hello， 吃了早餐没有？口渴哦，这么久。恭喜发财，水为财，财源滚滚来咯。哦，对了，喝完了。这给新郎喝啊？啊。新郎不要喝一个，那个太代表，没有啦，我们是代表。口渴了。每一个人喝一口才好嘛。
本来刚到生口渴的，坐在那里太多水，应该叫清干。
那水不好喝了，一喝就口渴了，那水，一喝就口渴。啊。你在说的耶？你又没有 mix 啊？哎，没有。新郎喝了先。没有咩？係咪你咁手震嘅？你嘅手咁震嘅？好啦，水為財，財源滾滾來，每一個人喝一口，這個是水。喝完了，喝完了，喝完了，來來，喝一口先，乾淨的，別怕。
你要喝啊，要喝了，你先喝了。你做我的，
水來的，水為財，財源滾滾來啦。啊，有啦，不用怕的啦。啊，好了，你這麼少呢？一定要喝完啊！要喝完了，還是不給我啊？好啊。來，煙滾滾來哈，水為財。哇！
講。
那这边3条街，选一条，哪一条是你老婆？
哦，仲有咩嚟㗎？喂，3條先啊，哪條是你老婆啊？
哪一条是你老婆？
3條都去，3條都去，3條送晒咯。
要慢慢拿，要拿到里面有一些危險人物在里面啊。
危險。
要慢慢拿，看拿中沒有。
3條。
選一條啊。
裡面是咩啊？啊？
哎呀，我連大妗姐都講得㗎，真係。
哪一條？哪一條？
我要那条，来拿拿。
是里面。
不，那个白色的那条。天线。
哦，等一下，出门的手套忘記穿了，要你找哦。
啊，開門找，不開門哪裡找得到？
在外面的。
手套。啊？这边啦，这边啦。哦。对。
最好嘢。
哎呦，我请他回来的。没有，我这边
老婆进凉了啊！
Excuse me。哎，手套过来。
沒有啦，手套來了，對不對？在哪裡？
哇，痛全部痛咁啊！
哎呦，這門全部同的就完了。
夠力哦！
夠力哦。
路邊。
手套在這邊啦。
沒有啊，我看到
大肚婆在這裡，在這裡。
喂，你們能進廁所，電信連着來這邊。
就是啊，哎，還有鞋子哦，還有一雙鞋子哦。
還有鞋子啊？
沒有，來，
這樣的，還有。
拍到了喂。哎，拍卡。
哎，他專門。
這邊是。現在找了手套的，但還沒有人帶。
還有個在房間。
在房間，下。
在房間。
哎呦，眼紅。
這麼給的。
多很快啊嘛。你這樣都修了。
大明，大明。然後咩？
在這間房啦。
他是給轉過來兩周了。
也沒有乖，把門開了。
人家沒有禮貌進來，他不要出來了。快點講 sorry 啊，就沒有禮貌。
快點講啦，
我們找到了，手套了啦，新娘。你的手套找到了啦，飯店網站找到了哈。
哦。
哎，還不推啊，等什麼你們啊？
對。
啊，這樣子才容易嘛。你讓我們不要給他們，給我們。
我也有微信啊。沒有，回去玩過。
還可以玩嗎？這個你了。
你們還給他玩啊？可以。沒有了。沒有辦法，觀眾要求。
全部兩個放這邊。這是我的，兩個放着我。
哎，不要啊，走，快走。來了。
哇，魚都暈啦，快啲啦。
廣東味都係紅包啫。
不要給我們
也沒有乖，把門打開，我們新郎要進來。
給他看一點來。
哎，沒有開個門，
沒有開紅包嘞。
新郎要收那條。
下面收音機抖都不玩了。
不要說的，開門來，小姐們，給你紅包去。
啊。
買花帶呀，還是肯德基呀？
又不可以拉線哦。
拿這個條咯。
好，一個是枕頭，一個是垃圾桶。
應該是椅子。
啲人，我3個禮拜都係都係
啊，姊妹啊，新郎哥個大利是喺呢度啦，你係。
哎，還不推？
嗰個利是開咗，攞咗唔得開個，開咗唔利是嘅啫嘛。啊，利是都未攞，唔得睇㗎，睇咗唔利是㗎。冇咁嘅事啊，真係。有咩事快啲講，喺度温啲啊，係人們在見到嘛。OK，講啦，跟住個手都見到啊嚇。
什麼？
給他的你的繩子來，拿給我看。
3條路是。哎，選那個白色那條。
天线，
肩膀拉你进去吗？肩膀拉你吗？
放翻来，放翻来。
电视机啊，电视机。
就是可能。后来我们
没问题。来，新来，新来，来。
送礼物给阿昏是送什么礼物？你记得吗？
阿虎这个。
喂，你不是，喂，你看我这么多人还要这样事了，
送礼吗？
送什么？
送什么给阿昏？
送什么？
第一次，你第一次。
都20年前的事还记得？哎呦，我很多第一次哦。
给红包，给红包。阿昏讲错，拜拜。
来就来。
看手啊，我要举多少啊？还有。
第一次送的，第一次送你。OK，不记得。
送什么？送玩具，
会领卡。
玩具。
什么玩具？
小熊哦。
小熊啊。
哎。
见到小熊拿出来给你看一下。
哎，推啦，不要浪费时间了啦。
送的，这是送的。
随便了啦。
是说还要算咩？这么久
哎，阿叔在那里几时
？365天这么长。
很久了吧？
预备，好了。
几时啊？
一见你
小时候就喜欢咯。你来一会儿就很喜欢他，来到一会儿就很喜欢他。
一见钟情啊！
我来到一会儿就很喜欢啦。
一来到一会儿就很喜欢。哎，他要你用20种语文啊，爸爸跟你讲我爱你哦。
哎，你们听不懂啊？
哎，我最闪就对了，青菜了。他晚上来讲了那个。
今晚等一下回去再讲
今天讲了。什么？
那你有听过？
我阿姨咯，就会讲的20种。哦，20种 ，OK 啊。
20种啊，我爱你啊！
讲一点啦，我爱你啦，你爱我，我爱你啦。啊，走。
这样快啊？没了。
哎，你看，
拍换了。
没有了。
没有了。
手脚在那边。
广安的啊，
Live on ESPN. Back here in Toronto, the White Sox leading the Blue Jays 2-0. Heading to the bottom of the second inning. Otis Nixon doubled off in the bottom half of the first for the Blue Jays when Carlos Garcia lined to under right. Tony Phillips, who described his arm yesterday as a popgun arm, who got to the ball, got the throw back into Frank Thomas and helped put an end to the Blue Jay inning. Here in the second, the third baseman Ed Sprague will lead it off, coming off a career season at the plate a year ago. Drives it to right. Phillips a few steps back, and now to his left, one down. Phillips looking pretty comfortable in his latest challenge, his latest new position. And Joe, we talked about it off the top of the show. One of the keys for the Blue Jays, how much will Carlos Delgado play, and how much power will he add to a Blue Jay lineup that doesn't have a ton of big power guys like Chicago, Cleveland, some of the others?
Well, because they're going to do so well from a pitching standpoint, they're going to need to put a couple balls in the seats. And Carlos Delgado is a definite power threat, a definite guy who's proven that he can do that with regularity. It all depends on how much he's going to be able to play against left-handers.
There's a high fly ball way back in center field. Home run number 1 off the Windows Restaurant in the 3rd deck here at Skydome.
Here he is hitting a home run in opening day here in Toronto, and we've seen a recreation of what he was able to do in April the year before last. He gets an up and away fastball, which is absolutely in his nitro zone, as strong as he is, and he really just flicks it off the windows in center field. What a testament to his strength.
In this ballpark, there are not too many players who have hit a ball out there, and that's the second time he's done that. He did it in his rookie year of '94 when he hit 8 home runs in his first 13 games in the big leagues, but then they figured him out a little bit, and he wound up back in AAA. Back to stay last year with 25 homers, and now a first at-bat home run to start off the '97 season.
He's always been able to hit the fastball, and once pitchers started to figure that out, they started spinning the ball a little bit more to him, and it became a little bit more difficult. Let's see how he's adjusted this year.
Batter's Benito Santiago with a 1-ball, 2-strike count on him. 1 out of the bottom of the second. Santiago with a career offensive year with the Phillies last year. Signed a 3-year deal with the Blue Jays in the offseason. 1-2 from Navarro. Misses down and away.
This is another reason that the Blue Jays acquired Santiago, is to try to get more offense into their lineup. Benito has always been an offensive type catcher, although a lot of people have been raving of the defensive improvements that he has made in the last couple of years.
On the appeal, he's gone. Two down in the inning now. As we give you another look at Carlos Delgado's home run. Look up off the restaurant called Windows here at Skydome. It hits the glass and bounces back onto the field.
I mean, that's just a testimony to this guy's unbelievable power. The cameramen aren't used to looking up that high to try to find a ball.
And again, many of his home runs in his brief career have been tape measure shots, 3rd and 4th deck. The batter is Shawn Green with 2 outs, 2-1 game now, Chicago. Another reason the Blue Jays feel they could move back into contention is they believe this is the year that Shawn Green explodes offensively. He had been labeled at times as an underachiever. Had a big spring with the bat. They've moved him from right to left. He's showing a little more confidence, has been hesitant at times in the field, and they hope and feel he's ready to break out.
Well, I think he is too, Dan. He's really been doing a good job, starting from after All-Star break last year, of staying on the ball and using more of the left side as second base. As you can see, his stance has opened up a lot more, and really that really helps him against the left-handers, where he's got both eyes on the ball and he's able to track the ball better with an open stance. And most guys who start with an open stance close off towards the plate anyway.
2-2 down the left field line as he tried to go the other way, but just fouled.
When Shawn Green first came up, he was just a pure pull hitter type guy, and now he's just developing into a much better hitter and a much more mature hitter. And as a result, his home run power has come down a little bit. But once he figures this new style out, he's going to start hitting more home runs, and they're going to start coming in the way of left center and maybe more to left field.
Taken high, full count. Willie Upshaw, the Blue Jay hitting coach in his second year with the club.
And Willie was instrumental in making those changes with Green at the middle part of last year.
2 down and the full count pitch. Ball 4. Another difference in Shawn Green between last year and this spring. He rarely took a walk his first 2 years of the majors and led the club in walks in the spring.
Navarro's kind of trying to get the ball over the plate, throws an inside fastball, and Green showing discipline. That's usually the last thing to come for a hitter, and that's really a good sign that he's showing that much plate awareness. And this next guy we have up here, Mr. Gonzalez, could use a little bit of that as well.
like Green, in his third year as a regular at the major league level, and looking for him to cut down on his strikeouts, are they?
Yes, I think that's probably a huge concern for him, and I still believe, you know, he does such a fine job defensively. When he gets a little bit more discipline up at the plate, there's no doubt that he's got pop in his bat, but he's got a chance to be a real good ball player in the not-too-distant future.
2-0. Navarro's had trouble with his control today. He's already walked 3 and has now fallen behind the number 9 hitter.
And just what you do not want to do early in a ball game, especially when you have a lead, is to be throwing a lot of pitches, especially early in the earlier part of this game, because I'm sure he's on some type of a pitch count. I don't think they're going to let him go over 100 pitches.
Fouled off, 2 balls and a strike on Gonzalez.
85, 90 pitches might be a good gauge for Navarro today, but he's already close to being half of that right now.
The furthest he went in a spring start was 7 innings. As Gonzalez takes it down the middle, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The thing I like about Navarro's motion is it's very compact, and he's able to come right over the top using the leverage of the mound to his benefit. And when there's less moving parts like that, especially when you're a big guy like him, your control's going to be better.
Is that an acquired thing, or just something that he was born with, that ability to turn a big guy into a compact motion?
Well, you can still be a big guy and have a real long arm action like he does, but that's something that he's developed through the minor leagues, instructional league, and even now on a moment-to-moment basis.
Green off and running, full count, 2 outs, and Gonzalez sends one into the hole at short. Guillen comes over the top, big stretch by the big Hurt to retire Gonzalez and the Blue Jays, but not before Carlos Delgado electrifies the home crowd here at Scotto with a monster shot to straightaway center field. 2-1 Chicago.
Tonight, his next goal will be his 500th. Al Lemieux, and there's number 500, Mario Lemieux.
Now, every time Mark Messier steps out on the ice could be an historic moment. He shoots, he scores! Mark Messier, number 500! What a night for Mark Messier!
From Liverpool, England, ESPN brings you the world's greatest steeplechase, the Martel Grand National. Famed for its reputation as a unique test of horse and rider, it is universally acclaimed as the greatest challenge in the world of thoroughbred racing, with up to 40 horses attempting to complete the 4.5-mile course. Don't miss one of the world's great annual sporting events, the Martel Grand National Steeplechase, live on ESPN.
Terry Bevington's Chicago White Sox with an early 2-1 lead on the Blue Jays. Chicago with both of their runs in the first on RBI hits by Albert Abel and Harold Baines. Blue Jays on a home run by Carlos Delgado in the second to cut the lead in half. Now in the bottom of the third. Top of the order again for the Blue Jays. Otis Nixon and Carlos Garcia and Orlando Merced against Chicago right-hander Jamie Navarro. And a breaking ball strike to start him.
Otis Nixon has always been very liberal about bunting. He's never been afraid from it, and maybe you would like to see and test the fielding skills of Jamie Navarro.
Yesterday, both teams had players rolling balls down the third base line and the first base line with the new turf here, trying to get a feel for what ground balls and bunts would do.
And it was probably bouncing like a badly spiked up putting green, too.
All kinds of bumps and bruises that they hope will sort themselves out. And also liable to try and test Chris Snopek, who, compared to some other American League third basemen, is playing Nixon back. Some guys will come at another 10 feet, 15 feet from where Snopek is.
And a lot of that is based on positioning and scouting reports. And I don't know if Nixon hasn't been bunting a lot in spring training, but you always know that it's in his mind to do it. And Snopek is a little faster than Robin Ventura, but not quicker.
Now up to 2 strikes. He drops back even with the bag. Nixon ground ball to the left of Guillen into center field. A leadoff base hit. Second hit of the day for the Blue Jays, and the second time Nixon has reached base. He walked in the first before getting doubled off on a fly ball. Now Garcia, who hit that fly ball, hit it sharply into right field, but Nixon was on the move, and Tony Phillips doubled him off. He shows bunt. Karkovice keeps it in front of him, but Nixon will scamper down to second.
I was kind of thinking that. I was wondering whether Nixon was going to be stealing in that situation to give Garcia just a slider that gets away from Jamie Navarro, and that is a very, very tough pitch for Karkovice to handle because it bounces back in towards him. And Nixon does a good job of locating it and getting a good read. Ozzie Guillen, another player that's here today, does a great, great job of reading the ball in the dirt.
There's another one. Here goes Nixon again. And 2 wild pitches send him down to third.
And they were both sliders. One pitch, it was hard to see what was different from the other. They were both sliders in the same spot. When it hits the dirt, watch the slider bounces back towards Karkovice, and that's a very tough pitch to handle for a catcher.
Nixon at third, nobody out, and Garcia sends one down the right field line. It is twisting toward the seats and will fall out of play. Blue Jays had 5 second basemen last year as they tried to find a successor to Roberto Alomar, who left following the '95 season. Couldn't settle on any one player, either offensively or defensively. Found a guy whose bat they liked, didn't like his glove, and vice versa. So they went to the National League and picked up Carlos Garcia from Pittsburgh.
There's not too many guys coming from the National League, everyday infielders that aren't good defensive players. They seem to play a lot more and place a lot more emphasis on defense in the National League, where it becomes more of an offensive league over here in the American League.
Swing and a miss by Garcia. Karkovice caught it cleanly. Strikeout is recorded, 1 down.
Well, Jamie Navarro finally harnesses this slider and was able to throw it, and it was nasty on the outer part of the plate to Garcia, and it really in a time where he definitely needed a strikeout, especially with a guy on third.
His second strikeout of the game. Nixon still down at third. Base hit and a couple of Navarro wild pitches got him there, and here's Orlando Merced, who walked in his first at bat. This one squirts through. Karkovice doesn't know where it is, and it might have hit home plate umpire Jim McKean's foot. Otherwise, it could have gone all the way back to the backstop.
And it looks like Jamie Navarro's forkball that he's had a hard time trying to harness, but if it's in the lower part of the strike zone, it's
base hit right field, tie game. Nixon in to score on an RBI single by Orlando Merced.
This is where the pendulum swings back into the favor of Pat Henkin as he struggled early. Now it seems to be in the hands of Jamie Navarro as he threw a quality pitch to Merced, but he was able to fight it off. And now he's the one that's struggling and trying to battle out of a situation where he's got the 3 and 4 hitters coming up for Toronto.
And it's Joe Carter with a runner at first, 1 down. Blue Jays have tied it at 2. First game of a opening day triple header for you today on ESPN. Cubs and Marlins following our game. Yankees and Mariners at 8 Eastern as Carter pulls it foul.
Navarro seems to be struggling with his command of his breaking balls, both his forkball and his slider. He had a couple pitches that got away from him as he threw him down and away, and now he's just trying to adjust his sights a little bit, and he got away with one there because that was hanging and that was up in the strike zone.
Carter pulls it down to third and off Snopek. All hands are safe.
I don't know if we can attribute that to new turf or not, because that was right around by the dirt cutout, but that ball just really ate him up, and that kind of overmatched him a little bit. That was very well hit.
You can see just in the corner of your screen, Guillen going down out in left field as he brought the ball in. It is scored an error against Chris Snopek. A hard hit ball will chalk up an error to the third baseman trying to replace Robin Ventura.
Yeah, it goes through the cutout of the dirt, which was probably just put down not too recently, as well as the new turf, and he just hit that ball real hard.
Batter is Spray. It's a fly ball to center. On comes Martinez to make the catch. Out number 2. So the Blue Jays have tied it up here in the third. They got their first run last inning when Carlos Delgado, who is making his way to the plate right now, saw a pitch that he liked from Jamie Navarro and sent it about as far as you can send a ball to straightaway center field here at Skydome. He hit it off the Windows Restaurant glass up in the third deck for his first home run and his first at-bat of the '97 season.
It just goes to show you the strength that he has, because he didn't really leverage that ball. That was from the elbows down, wrists and forearms, and he's got some pop.
And he, Joe, is coming off-season wrist surgery and knee surgery, but you can see on his right wrist he's got a soft wrap that goes about a third of the way up his forearm, but it obviously isn't bothering him given how far he hit that ball.
Yeah, there's never been any disputing of his strength. It's just, can he handle the breaking ball and can he cut his strikeouts down? And hopefully we're going to get to see this year how he's going to be able to handle more left-handed pitching.
First and second for the Blue Jays. 2 outs. Navarro got him to foul it off. A ball and a strike.
That is a muscling type quick swing where it's very compact and it's very short to the ball. But it is also a swing there where he really has to commit early, which is probably one of the reasons why the breaking ball has given him some difficulty.
1-1. Jammed him. Shallow left field. It'll drop. And the Blue Jays have taken the lead. Merced in to score. An RBI single for Delgado moves Carter around to third, and it's 3-2 Toronto.
Delgado is such a strong guy that the outfielders have to play so deep that when he mishits the ball, he's able to get it in front of Albert Bell, and Albert is just going to have to play deep, and that's just a plain, pure, and simple broken bat single.
Ozzie and Albert will have to get used to one another defensively. Last thing Ozzie wants is to get run over by Albert Bell coming in from left field. Here's Benito Santiago, who struck out his first time up.
He took kind of a half tentative swing on another slider from Navarro, and he seemed to be baffled his first time up as well, and he doesn't seem to be getting a very good look at him in this at bat either.
And he would know Navarro. Each was in the National League the last 2 years.
That was the fork ball of Navarro. He finally got it down. I shouldn't say finally, because he's had it in the lower part of the strike zone. He's got it down, and he's able to use that and counteract that with the slider and also with the fastball up and in, which gives him 3 different ways where he can attack Santiago here.
Ahead 0-2 with the runners on the corners. Got him. Strikes out Santiago for the second time today to end the inning. The Blue Jays, though, take the lead as Delgado picks up another RBI. 3-2 Toronto.
I almost signed a contract to play professional baseball, but the only thing I ever wanted to do was be a golfer. I didn't want to be an actor or a fireman or a lawyer or any of those things that kids get in their mind. I wanted to be a golfer. And I think to be good at what you do, you really have to somewhere down inside you think that you really want to be the best. It's not a physical game as you might think. All of the other things, the more you play and the better you get and the more you're around it. I don't know if there is a physical side. I think it's all mental. You don't concentrate on the golf course from the minute you walk on the tee till the minute you walk off the 18th. You should enjoy your walk. You should love your environment. You should smell the grass and hear the wind blow through the trees and hear the birds. We're all very lucky, and we know it. And our responsibility is to give back and keep it as great as it is now and to make it even better if we can. We're all responsible, and we want to give as much as we can.
Basketball, one of Philippines' most popular sports. ESPN is pleased to bring you the PBA Game of the Week. Catch a season of excitement in the spirit and intensity of the game as top local players showcase their attacking style. Don't miss the Philippines equivalent of NBA, the PBA Game of the Week, every Monday on ESPN.
Direct from Holland. Catch coverage of one of Europe's top leagues. It's Dutch football on ESPN.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by The Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. And welcome back to Skydome, where the Blue Jays have taken a 3-2 lead against the White Sox after Chicago scored 2 on Pat Henkin in the top half of the first inning. He was strong in the second, struggled a little bit in the third, but got out of a jam, and now we'll face Harold Baines, Chris Snopek, and Ray Durham, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the Chicago order.
You know, people talk about the age of Harold Baines, and his bat has slowed down, and now he just hits his home runs into left center. He's always been a guy who stood way off the plate and dove into the plate, kind of the Charlie Lau type theory, and try to cover the outside corner.
Baines pulls it by Carter into right field, a base hit. And the White Sox have the leadoff man on for the 3rd time in 4 innings today.
And that's something that Harold has always done a nice job on, is being able to take the fastballs to more towards left center, which allows him to stay on the breaking balls more and put those in play from the right side of the field. And as you get older, he says that your bat does slow down. You make your living off-speed pitches and breaking balls.
And with the absence of Ventura, Baines' bat even more important. Here's the man replacing Ventura, Chris Snopek, who prior to this year has played both third base and shortstop for the White Sox at times. He is a natural third baseman. Pops him up right side. Carter may have a play. One-handed catch, 1 down.
Snopek has had 2 at-bats so far, and he has seen 2 pitches. He swung at the first pitch both times up, and it might be a better idea the next time to get a couple pitches, get a little bit better look, and just get settled in a little bit. I know he's probably feeling he's got a big job ahead of him in replacing Robin Ventura, but he's a very talented player, and he just needs to let the game come to him a little bit more.
Now Ray Durham, caught looking by Henkin his first time up back in the 2nd. Durham pulls it to right. Here comes Merced. Squeezes the line drive. 2 down. Baines back to first. You see the ESPN in-game box score. A chance to get up to date 3 times during every game on what every player in the lineup has done so far. Two down, Baines at first. Here's Ron Karkovice. And a strike.
Karkovice, or Karko as he's called by his teammates, has had a lot of knee surgeries over the last couple of years, but still remains one of the best defensive catchers in baseball. He has cartilage that has been taken out of both knees, and where one knee it's a bone-on-bone relationship in it, and obviously the knees are very important to catching. It'll just be interesting to see how long that he'll be able to sustain himself like that.
Henkin quickly ahead 0-2. Inside with a fastball. White Sox carrying 3 catchers to begin the season.
It's very interesting. You would carry two catchers and add another pitcher, but they've decided to go with more defense, and they brought in Tony Pena to handle. I don't know who he's going to handle at this point, but and also Chad Kruger, both very fine defensive catchers.
Karkovice lifts a pop-up way in the air, shallow left. Gonzalez plenty of time to get back, and the inning is over. Henkin gets out of it after a leadoff single to Baines. Blue Jays are coming up, leading 3-2.
NBA is jam-packed with action. Hit the court with the giants of the game and catch all the excitement of the NBA on ESPN. Sponsored by Adidas.
The PBA Game of the Week, jam-packed with action. Hit the court with the giants of the game. Gordon's Gin, the league's most popular team and the #1 spot in team standing, will take on another talented squad and a former champion, Pop Cola. Watch them in action and catch all the excitement of the PBA Game of the Week on ESPN.
Many nations are vying for a place in the World Cup. Only 30 national teams can join host France and reigning champions Brazil in the most prestigious football event. Watch the Road to World Cup '98 on ESPN.
The traditional Major League opener is underway. Deion Sanders doubled off Kevin Ritz. Oh, it's gone! Willie Green knew it as soon as he hit it. Ray Knight started juggling his lineup just before the season opened, moving to the 2-hole. It paid dividends immediately. Back to Dan.
Willie Green perhaps poised to have a breakout year for Cincinnati, and they've got Deion Sanders back at the top of their lineup. An early lead for Cincinnati over Colorado, and here a 3-2 lead for the Blue Jays over the White Sox. Shawn Green, his second at bat of the young season after walking his first time up. And now the in-game box score for the Blue Jays. Showed you the White Sox in their half of the inning, and now the Blue Jays here in the bottom half of the fourth. Carlos Delgado, the big story so far for Toronto. Plan right now is for Delgado to primarily DH. He's only 24 years of age. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Joe Carter didn't want to move from the outfield exclusively to a DH position, so Carter will play first about 5 days a week, DH a couple times, and Delgado will flip-flop with him.
Well, the guys that I've talked to that have had the choices to do that, they really want to stay part of the game and not be an exclusive DH. It allows them to feel more like a player, really. And some guys just don't like the routine of going up to the plate and having to wait another inning and a half back in the clubhouse or swinging at in a batting cage or whatever. Some people are just really uncomfortable with the routine and like the distraction of going out and playing defense.
Green is gone as he swings and misses. Another strikeout for Navarro, his fourth. Well, We wanted to welcome our new ESPN partner here, Joe McGrain, to the broadcast in just the classiest way that we could find. So we asked Joe Carter about his memories of Joe McGrain, the ball player.
Joe McGrain. Did he pitch with Pittsburgh? Was he a right? Well, he was a right-hander, wasn't he? Yeah. Short right-hander. Threw from down the side. Yeah, I remember. I mean, you know, maybe he's found a job that he can finally do now. You know, but as a right-hander, you know, we wore him out.
See, the best part about your job is now you get the last laugh at him. You can take any shot at him. He won't even know what's coming.
Well, I think when you said that, you said it all.
You owned him, didn't you?
Yeah, I think he hit about 300 off.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
A 2-0 count on Alex Gonzalez, who crushes a ball to left field. Second deck home run.
Throws his pitch and the cash register just starts ringing for Alex in the eyes of Alex Gonzalez. They're looking for more power from him. You see that's just a hanging slider, and those pitches tend to go a long, long way.
Second home run of the game off Navarro. Delgado had one earlier as Nixon shows bunt. Gonzalez hit 14 a year ago, and he feels he's got the capability to eventually get up around 25 or 30.
If those home runs come with a cut down of his strikeouts, so that would really be outstanding for him. And I think it would require a lot of confidence right now. He struck out over 100 times last year, and with more discipline and better pitch selection up at the plate, he's got the power where those hits are going to, or those home runs are going to come.
Navarro makes quick work of Otis Nixon, retiring him for the first time today. 2 down. Blue Jays with 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and another one here in the fourth on the Gonzalez home run to turn a 2-0 deficit into a 4-2 lead. 2 outs for Carlos Garcia, 0 for 2. Very high fly ball, shallow left center. Bell comes together with Martinez. It's Albert Bell making the catch to retire the side, but up before Alex Gonzalez. Powers the ball deep to left. 4-2 Blue Jays.
You know, I have a personal dream that's been nurtured over the years. It started off when I was 8 years old when I first picked up a golf club. And the PGA Tour is about creating possibilities. It's about pursuing dreams. I can understand why kids, you know, look at us as heroes. I think people who dedicate their lives to helping people, those are the people who are the real heroes. There are very few people in the world that are like that, but we meet a lot of them on the PGA Tour. One of the great things about the tour, the tournaments, and the charities is that we all work together to help people in need and give them something they've never had before, and that's hope. We have a saying on tour that anything's possible. There's always something that's good's going to happen. Never ever give up on a dream, because on the PGA Tour, anything's possible.
ESPN brings you the 1997 IndyCar World Series. Hold on tight as we cover the energy and velocity of international racing on ESPN.
Experience top-class table tennis action as ESPN brings you Ping Pong, a half-hour special on international table tennis. Covering both the ITTF and Asian competitions, it'll feature and profile top players from around the world in competitions from all corners of the globe. Don't miss the excitement of Ping Pong, beginning of every month on ESPN.
For 2 Blue Jays as Alex Gonzalez hits his first home run of the season. Tomorrow night on ESPN, Wednesday night of baseball. First edition of the season, 7:30 Eastern. Gary Sheffield of the Marlins against Mark Grace and the Cubs in the late game. Another dandy. The Yankees and the Mariners always have wild games. Your first look at a star-studded Seattle lineup. And that game for the Yankees is scheduled to be started tomorrow night by Andy Pettitte, the runner-up in Cy Young Award balloting to today's Blue Jays starter here in Toronto, Pat Hentgen. Top of the 5th inning in the bottom of the order, Ozzie Guillen with a ground ball out to short. Thrown out by Gonzalez, 1 down.
Hentgen was in that jam in the first part of the first inning, and that seems like a long, long time ago. He has really done a nice job of settling down. He's got his nerves under control and got back to doing what he does best, and that's competing.
Blue Jays hoping there are a lot of days when they can just run the starter out there and leave him with the likes of Hentgen, Guzman, and Clemens all on the same staff. Tony Phillips, the batter, and he's done very well against Hentgen today, walking and scoring. Excuse me, singling and scoring, and then drawing a walk his second time up. Does that crouch help him in drawing walks?
I think it does a good job from minimizing his strike zone. The thing where he starts to struggle is when he comes off the ball. Usually after he's hit a couple home runs, he wants to try to pull the ball a little bit more, or when he comes out of that crouch. That's a great stance if you stay into it and hit from there like Pete Rose used to. But the guys that pop out of the crouch, when the head's moving, so goes the rest of the body, and sometimes you don't get as good a look at the ball as you should.
Sends it the other way, another base hit. What a great day so far for Tony Phillips. 2 singles the opposite way and a walk.
He does another good job of staying on the ball. Watch that front shoulder stay right in there, and he just literally serves it in between short and third for another base hit. Great balance as he keeps his head behind the ball.
He's got a chance to score a lot of runs this year. 1 out, 1 on in the 5th. Here's Dave Martinez, 0 for 2.
And almost the antithesis to Tony Phillips is Dave Martinez, where his hands are way, way high, and they come down. They come down to where Davey has this chopping type action where he hits a lot of line drives that don't seem to want to hit the ground. They just seem to sail, and he gets a lot of backspin on a lot of his line drives.
There's a fly ball to center. Nixon settles under it. 2 down. And now Frank Thomas again for his 3rd at bat of the afternoon. Base hit to right and scored a run back in the 1st, and a ground ball to 3rd his 2nd time up.
Hentgen is thinking of something that he can get Frank to hit the ball on the ground in the infield to have Albert Bell leading off next inning as opposed to getting up this inning
with those numbers. Over 6 full seasons, too. 2-hopper out to short. He got the ground ball. Gonzalez the short way. And like you said, Joe, Hentgen got Thomas to ground out to end the inning. Blue Jays still lead 4-2. Leading off the 6th inning for Chicago. A very high fly ball. It'll stay in the park in center field. Caught by Nixon. Bell now 1 for 3 with an RBI double.
And that makes Hentgen very happy. Bell swinging at a first pitch and getting a first pitch out.
Both Thomas and Bell 1 for 3 today.
And as a pitcher gets tired, and I don't think Hentgen is at that point yet, but the leadoff man, getting that guy out becomes more and more important as the game progresses.
Both of these starting pitchers are workhorses, as Joe was talking about a little bit earlier. Navarro's thrown 100 pitches through 5 innings. Henkin right now is just at 72 with 1 out in the 6th, and Harold Baines at the plate. And he lifts one in the air into left. Sean Green with his first play in his new position, being pushed over from right to left with the addition of Orlando Merced. Chris Snopek, 0 for 2 on the day. Each time up, he has swung at the first pitch. Pop-up and a foul out. Last year with the White Sox, hit 6 home runs as he takes a knee-high strike. First pitch he's taken today. In 104 at-bats, he's got power. And Terry Bevington really talking a lot in Florida about, make no mistake, they will miss Robin Ventura, but he says Chris Snopek is an everyday major leaguer. Just has been buried because of how good Ventura has been for Chicago. But can he duplicate what Robin Ventura has meant to the White Sox over the last few years? These are some pretty heady numbers Ventura put up offensively a year ago. And glove work, of course. 4 Gold Gloves. Snopek already charged with an error in this game. Merced makes a running catch in foul ground on the track. And it's a very quick 3-up, 3-down inning for Pat Henkin. Snopek now 0 for 3, and the Blue Jays continue to lead 4-2.
Many of the Reds battle around. John Smiley made the last out. Vinny Castillo makes him pay. Castillo hit 40 homers a year ago for the Rockies. It's a solo shot, though. They're still down 4-1 as we go back to Sky Dome.
Now, you never had the pleasure of pitching in Colorado, did you?
No, I didn't. I had the pleasure of pitching in Mile High, and it wasn't any different. Right. The ball still flies there, too, just the same.
Sean Green leading off the 6th for the Blue Jays, 0 for 1 with a walk. Green, Gonzalez, and Nixon due up for the Blue Jays here in the 6th. 4-2 Toronto. Home runs for Delgado and Gonzalez. Navarro now over 100 pitches. He did come back out to work the 6th inning for Chicago.
I think we could be rest assured if Jamie gets into any type of difficulty this inning that this will be his last, and we'll probably see a pitching change.
Right now, just a lot of looking around out in the Chicago bullpen in right field as Green sends one up the middle for his first hit of the season.
They will probably get active now.
Now, this is just the first of 3 opening day games for you here on ESPN. Behind us today, down to Miami, where those powerful Florida Marlins, who went 26-5 in the spring, take on Sammy Sosa and the Cubs, Kevin Brown, Terry Mulholland. The scheduled pitching matchup, and then tonight another great game. The Yankees at Seattle. Alex Rodriguez and the Mariners. Jeff Fassero, the opening day starter for Seattle, and David Cone for New York. What a game that should be. 8 Eastern tonight on ESPN. Alex Gonzalez, the batter for Toronto. He homered his last time up. The .235 average from a year ago, along with the 127 strikeouts, the 2 big concerns of Blue Jay manager Cito Gaston, and he and Gonzalez have kind of quietly clashed philosophically a little bit this spring. Gonzalez saying, well, I'm going to strike out, but I'll hit you some home runs and some doubles. And Cito Gaston, with Gonzalez in the number 9 spot, wants him to hit a little bit more like a number 9 hitter. Move the runners along, cut down on the strikeouts, keep the ball in play. Green is on the move up to second.
Jamie Navarro tries to throw that slider that's been so good to him today, and it just kind of gets away from him. It's not all that bad of a pitch, but his command has been a little while on the down and outer part of the strike zone today.
That's a pass ball to Karkovice. There have also been 2 wild pitches charged to Navarro. And Terry Bevington has the look of an unhappy man here on opening day. And the bullpen now getting busy, as you said, Joe, for Chicago.
two young guys, Alan Levine and Mike Bertotti. That's their first opening day.
There's Gonzalez doing what Cito Gaston wants him to do. Runner at second, nobody out, hit it to the right side, move him along.
If he can sprinkle in some home runs like he's going to do and be able to play that type of baseball by hitting the ball the other way and moving around runners, it's going to be a big year for Alex Gonzalez.
Shawn Green down to third on the play. There's one out. Blue Jays already leading 4-2 in the sixth inning, and that forces the White Sox to pull in the infield with Otis Nixon the batter. This is a bit more comfortable than, say, were the Blue Jays to pull the infield in with Frank Thomas or Albert Bell the batters. Nixon goes around, strike one. Face Otis as a right-handed hitter. He would turn around and hit a right-handed against you. Is he a different kind of a hitter from the two sides of the plate?
He's still the same type of slappy type of stroke where he's just trying to put the ball in play. And with two strikes, he is going to chase from both sides of the plate. He's very similar from both sides.
Down low, and this time Karkovice keeps it in front of him. 2 balls and a strike.
Karkovice has had the knee surgeries, and he's really had to work real hard today. He does a nice job fundamentally getting his hands out in front of him and creating just a little cubby hole to where the ball bounces forward and not ricocheting sideways.
One of the real good defensive catchers in the game. Career batting average just down in the 220s, but so valuable to a pitching staff.
And you would be hard-pressed to find a catcher with a better release for throwing guys out.
Navarro might be nearing the end of the line right now. Up to 111 pitches. Levine and Bertotti both up in the Chicago bullpen. 3-1. And Nixon swung at a pitch that was borderline.
This may be Navarro's last hitter here, with the right-hander Levine and also the left-hander Bertotti down there throwing for the White Sox.
On deck for the Blue Jays is the right-hand hitting Carlos Garcia. 3-2. And it's ball 4 to Nixon. Karkovice again having to locate the ball, but kept it close enough to the plate that Green couldn't make a move. Pitching coach Mike Pasek now on his way out to the mound.
And maybe just doing a little bit of stalling to give those guys a little bit extra time to get loose. I mean, he has thrown a lot of pitches, which is unusual on opening day unless the guy's thrown a complete game. And Mike's the type of low-key pitching coach who believes in kind of a hands-off and pretty much letting the guys pitch their way out of trouble. But having Pasek coming out there this time, you definitely now know that this is his last hitter.
So Navarro will stay under the watchful eye of Terry Bevington. The Blue Jays leading 4-2. Runners at first and third with 1 out here in the 6th inning. And the batter, Carlos Garcia, 0 for 3 on the day. Infield hopeful of a double play to end this inning. Garcia gets down the line pretty well. Green at third. Nixon at first. And again, always the chance of Nixon trying to wreak some havoc on the base paths. Pitch out, and Garcia reaches for it and taps it to second, but beats the throw to first, and the fielder's choice will bring in another run. Is there a cross up there between pitcher and catcher?
I don't know exactly what they were doing there. Nixon bluffed going, and Garcia reacted to it almost like it was a hit and run. Definite cross up. There's a pitch out on, and he ends up throwing the ball towards the middle of the plate, and sometimes that'll happen with a new pitcher coming to another team. Pitch outs, it's not the old just fist anymore. There's all kinds of different signs, and sometimes when you're struggling, you become a little tired. You don't think quite as clearly.
So give Garcia the RBI as Green comes in to score. It's now 5-2 for the Blue Jays, and the batter is Merced, who is having a good debut as a Blue Jay with a base hit and a couple of walks. There goes Garcia. Karkovice throw down, not in time. Carlos Garcia has stolen second.
Garcia gets a good jump, and is largely a jump that was gotten off Navarro. Karkovice makes a relatively good release and a fine throw, just on the right side of the bag, but still, that was more stole on the pitcher than the catcher.
1-1 to Merced. Could be a big stolen base if Merced can come up with a base hit here. Garcia's got a chance to come around with a 6th Toronto run.
I'm not saying that's the case, that's what happened, but sometimes when you're in a jam and you're tired, you become less concerned with what the base runners are doing. You know that this may be your last hitter, so you're going to focus real hard to try to get that guy out.
2-2. Surprised that Navarro's still out there at this point?
I am very surprised. Very surprised. Usually that their opening day are still on, pitchers are still on some type of a pitch count, and maybe he is on a pitch count. It just might be 130.
He's getting up close to 120 right now. Another pitch that bounces in. It's a full count to Merced as Garcia scampers back to second. Looking over his catcher more than anybody else right now.
Yeah, Carco is taking a bit of a beating back there. He's had to block a lot of sliders on the outer part of the plate and move around. And if there was ever any doubt about how his knees felt today, he certainly was able to test them out.
2 outs, runner at second to Garcia. And a full count to Merced. The Blue Jays trailed 2-0. Now they lead 5-2. Swing and a miss, and Merced is gone. 120 pitches for Navarro, and in all likelihood, the last he will work today. 5-2, Toronto in the 6th.
To reach out to one individual is to
struggled in the first inning, giving up both runs, but as you said, maybe those opening day jitters have subsided now.
Yeah, he seemed to do a good job of getting over those and was able to get out of a jam and make a couple tough pitches, and he's really done a fine job after the first inning after Frank Thomas and Albert Bell.
They both got to him for base hits in that first inning, but haven't done any damage since. Both Bell and Thomas are 1 for 3 on the day, and Henkin, with a very low pitch count, 76 pitches through 6 innings, has been able to conserve his pitches and now works to the bottom third of the order in the 7th.
He's had a lot of guys swinging very early in the count on him, and I think another reason is they don't want to get to that good slurve or slider type breaking ball that he has with 2 strikes.
Finds the corner on Ray Durham. It'll be Durham, Karkovice, and Guillen here in the 7th for the White Sox. And with his low pitch count and the way Henkin is throwing right now and his stamina and determination, he's got a chance to go the distance. The Blue Jays have a pretty deep bullpen. Closer is Mike Timlin as Henkin zips Durham on an 0-2 and puts the leadoff man on. Let's get an update in the studio again with Gary Miller.
Dan, they're underway in Arlington. Ben McDonald with a man aboard facing Lee Stevens. Will Clark's got a broken finger. Stevens is taking the opportunity and taking McDonald yard. Scores Dean Palmer, the 2-run shot. It is 2-0 Texas as they go to the 2nd.
And you'll see the main rival of Texas in the AOS, the Seattle Mariners, in the 3rd game of the tripleheader tonight, 8 Eastern. On ESPN, Karkovice base hit left field. Durham makes the turn and slips. Heads back to second and is in there safely. An adventure for Ray Durham as he ran at second.
I think Durham had ideas about going to third, but quickly thought that not wanting to make the first out at third to begin an inning, and smartly went back to second. Follows the ball of Karkovice and has definite thoughts about going to third. I don't want to make the first out at third base, and was able to scurry back into second.
Still a rally here for the White Sox. It was 0-2 on Durham, then Henkin hit him, and then Karkovice with a base hit, and suddenly the tying run is at the plate. Ozzie Guillen is the batter. Trying to get the bunt down.
Good bunt, Ozzie.
This will be a test for the new Blue Jay infield with Carlos Garcia at second and Joe Carter still trying to get comfortable as an everyday first baseman.
And I don't think that was a full-fledged sacrifice attempt that Ozzie made. We'll find out here on this pitch here. But if you figure you can get 2 runs closer and still have a couple more at-bats to have a chance to catch him.
Swinging away, it's a fly ball, shallow left. Green the catch, 1 down. So Henkin prevents the White Sox from moving the runners along, and now a conversation with Santiago about the leadoff man Tony Phillips, who's gotten the best of Henkin all day long. In his career against Pat Henkin, with Durham at second, Karkovice at first, Phillips is now 11 for 27 with 4 home runs. And he takes a strike.
Like we said earlier, Henkin's not throwing as hard as he normally does, but he's doing an excellent job of locating, and that part of pitching execution is going to take you a long way when you don't really have your best fastball.
How important, Joe, is it for Henkin to get Phillips and Martinez and get out of this before Thomas and Bell come to the plate?
Well, if I was standing on the mound, I think it'd be very, very important, because I certainly wouldn't want to face him. I'd rather have them leading off.
High fly ball, left field line, draws a trio of Blue Jays, and Ed Sprague makes a terrific running catch for out number 2.
Wow.
Not known for his range, Ed Sprague came up with a huge defensive play here.
That's still one of the toughest plays for a third baseman to make, is to turn around and just run full bore and then to try to locate the ball in the ceiling. That was fantastic. What a great catch. Still having the presence of mind to hurry up and get rid of the ball and get the ball to third base so Durham can advance.
Now 2 outs in the inning. And Henkin is a Dave Martinez away from escaping this jam without having to face Thomas and Bell. Off-speed pitch, loop to left, on comes Green, and Henkin gets out of it. First and second, nobody out, and he went to the changeup again and got some help from his friend at third, and Ed Sprague. Joe Carter will lead off for the Blue Jays in a 5-2 Toronto lead. Moving to the bottom of the 7th at Scott on opening day here the 1997 Major League regular season. Every ballpark has its own 7th inning stretch ritual. I'm not sure under what heading this would go.
I think there's been a Keith Olbermann sighting here at Skydome.
Not planning on heading back to the studio for a while, are you?
Not anytime soon.
Here's Alan Levine into the game, replacing Jamie Navarro, who really labored for the first 6 innings for the White Sox through 120 pitches. Levine making the opening day roster for the White Sox for the first time in his career.
And he's a guy who's going to come right at you as a typical middle reliever with a fastball, slider, and a little bit of a split-fingered fastball. Very aggressive and works quickly.
Joe Carter greets him with a high fly ball to left field. Bell is back, and this one will stay in play for out number 1. Carter now 0 for 4 on the day, and he'll make way for Ed Sprague, who offensively is 0 for 3, a couple fly balls and a strikeout. But I bet you the first thing that Pat Henkin will talk about after the game is the defensive play Sprague made on his behalf last inning.
Yeah, that was as good a play as it gets right there. That's still one of the toughest plays in baseball for a third baseman to make. And fine job of execution by Mr. Sprague.
Now he lifts the fly ball to center, playable for Martinez. And Alan Levine with a couple of quick outs. Let's go back to Gary Miller.
Dan, give me an update from Riverfront. John Smiley and the Reds battle around. They were up 4-0, but Vinny Castilla homered. And now Ellis Burks has hit a 2-run shot. So 2 guys part of that 40 home run club have gotten off to good starts in the opening game. It is 4-3. Back to you.
I guess, Gary, home or away, can't write off that Colorado offense in any game. A 1-run game in Cincinnati. 3-run lead here for the Toronto Blue Jays. And one of the biggest reasons, Carlos Delgado. What a great start to the regular season for him. The home run, if you missed it, was a booming shot to straightaway center field off the Windows Restaurant here at Scotto, which is up in the 3rd deck. There it is. And the 2nd time in his young career that he's done that. 400 feet at the base of the fence, and that's, what, about 30, 40 feet up, would you say?
Oh, it's extremely large. I mean, if he keeps doing that, they're going to have probably add his name as to one of the items on the menu there.
He was the first Blue Jay into camp, spent almost 2 months down in Florida, and was as anxious as anybody to get up to Toronto. We mentioned the off-season wrist and knee surgery. Blue Jays were a little dismayed when they flew up to Toronto on Sunday and landed in a snowstorm as Delgado reaches base for the 4th time today. Great start to the season for Delgado. Here he is against Navarro in the 2nd inning, driving a home run to straightaway center. Delgado with the biggest power upside in a lineup that is looking for power to try to compete with some of the heavier hitting teams in the American League. This guy probably glad just to see somebody other than Jamie Navarro out there.
But what does he get? A first pitch slider for a strike. And here comes another one.
No fair stealing signs on us here. You got the inside information.
Yeah, I can count to 3.
Two outs, runner at first, and the 1-1 to Santiago. Swinging a miss, strike 2.
You know, I knew it was time to quit, Dan, when I'm seeing guys throwing split-fingered fastballs as fast as my fastball. So
you were going on yesterday. Location, location, location.
Absolutely.
Moving away. And Santiago just did get a piece of it.
Well, what do you think he's going to throw here, Dan? Is he going to come back with another slider or another one of those split-finger change pieces or whatever those that pitch that he calls it?
What's your guess? You've had it labeled so far.
I think he's going to throw a slider.
Nothing but success for the Chicago pitchers against Santiago so far. Navarro got Santiago twice swinging, once looking, and now Levine ahead of him, ball and 2 strikes. Skip away from Karkovice. Up to second goes Delgado. The 4th time today that a Blue Jay has been given an extra base. If that one is a wild pitch, and it is, it would be the 3rd wild pitch charged against the White Sox. Also a pass ball against Karkovice.
That's kind of been in that area where Karkovice has had to work real hard today. A lot of bouncing sliders, and those are really tough plays for him.
White Sox led 2-0 in the 1st. Since then, Pat Henkin has settled down, and the Chicago pitching, mainly Jamie Navarro, has struggled. Navarro went 6 innings in his debut as a member of the White Sox, signed a 4-year deal in the offseason, came over and was the opening day starter. 4 of the 7 hits for Chicago in the 1st. Here's Navarro's line. An error by Snopek figured in. Again, 2 wild pitches and a pass ball. And a very high pitch count, 120 for just 6 innings of work. Not Benito Santiago's day. His debut as a Blue Jay, 4 strikeouts. Frank Thomas, Albert Bell, hoping to get Chicago back into it as we move to the 8th. complete so far. Jamie Navarro 6 innings for Chicago. Pat Henkin still out there for the Blue Jays and has to get through Frank Thomas and Albert Bell one more time. The big sluggers for the Chicago White Sox both got to Henkin in the first inning when Chicago scored their 2 runs, but since then Henkin has held the upper hand. Coming up tonight on The Deuce, some NHL action for you. Fire on ice as the Detroit Red Wings, led by Brendan Shanahan, take on Brett Hull's St. Louis Blues. The Blues in a battle for a playoff spot in the West, 7:30 Eastern tonight on ESPN2. Not bad for Henkin. Both those hits coming again in the first inning as Frank Thomas takes high to lead off the 8th.
Everybody, all of the White Sox hitters have been very quiet since the first. It's been a gritty performance by Henkin, who's not ready to relinquish that Cy Young Award winner award. You know, whatever I'm trying to say.
He won't give it up. 1-1 the count on Thomas. 4 hits for Chicago in the first and just 3 hits first since. I don't know about you, but he won the Cy Young last year, as you see, in every publication you read on predictions who will win the Cy Young this year. I never saw his name anywhere. I didn't see one national publication.
I think a lot of people are really chalking it up for a fluke. This guy's won 20 last year, and he's won 19 games the year before, so he hasn't accidentally just snuck up on a lot of people.
High to Thomas again, 3-1. He has never missed a start in his big league career, which dates back as a starter to 1993. He came up as a reliever and worked his way into the rotation. Last year at the All-Star game, Joey was just 8-6 and then went on a tear in the second half as Thomas lashes one into left field, a leadoff base hit. So the first big slugger gets on against Henkin here in the 8th, and that brings up the newcomer, Albert Bell, who's hearing it from the fans here. Back in the first inning, he went the other way, sending it down the right field line into the corner, an RBI double for Albert Bell in his first at bat as a member of the White Sox. Since then, a couple of fly balls to center field.
And that was a breaking ball in the first inning, and Henkin, which is a great pitch for him, has not thrown a whole lot of breaking balls. He's just been locating his fastball very well.
Does Henkin look to you like he's still got a lot of gas left in the tank?
I think he looks good. He's still throwing the ball 90 miles an hour, and he's still executing pretty well as far as his location goes. Just little glitches here and there.
Thomas the lead at first. Nobody out for the White Sox in the 8th. And a fly ball deep left field. Albert Bell. And it's a 1-run game. Give Bell 3 RBIs on the day. And the 2 big bats in the Chicago lineup sure got to Henkin this time through the order.
And there's an indication right there why they wanted to acquire Albert Bell. Seemingly going up against the Cy Young Award winner, out of the ball game, and with one swing of the bat on a hanging slider, right back in it to 1 run down.
Albert Bell knew it. His first home run for Chicago, a 2-for-4, 3 RBI day, and suddenly it's a 1-run game with Harold Baines at the plate. Albert Bell with 148 RBIs a year ago has a chance to even exceed that number this year with the guys hitting in front of him here in Chicago.
I'm getting a feeling that we might have jinxed Henkin the way we were talking about all the scoreless innings that he was able to rack up.
2 in the first and now 2 in the 8th for the White Sox. The Blue Jays getting the bullpen busy. They did so just before Albert Bell went deep. Two to Baines. Swing and a miss at a high fastball, and Baines is gone. 1 down in the 8th. Here's the support for Henkin. The right-hander is Tim Crabtree, who was iffy to make the opening day roster. They were going to leave him behind, a bit of a weak shoulder and some off-season surgery, but he's back. And Dan Plesac, another player who came over from Pittsburgh in the off-season 9-player deal. The In the meantime, Henkin stays to face Chris Snopek, who's 0 for 3. Foul ball. Not the kind of debut that Snopek was hoping for. 0 for 3. First 2 times up, swung at a first pitch and popped him up. Also charged with an error today. Ray Durham due up behind Snopek here in the 8th. This is Pat Henkin's 100th pitch of the afternoon. It's there for strike 2.
See, he hasn't really struck out a lot of guys, but because he's been locating so well with his fastball, he hasn't had to put his curveball in play as much. His fastball has great movement to it.
And he uses it to get Snopek. 2 down.
When you have a good curveball, it's hard to lay off the high fastball to Snopek. And it just doesn't look like he's having a whole lot of fun right now.
You can see that frustration. 2 outs now for Ray Durham, the second baseman, and Henkin goes back to the breaking ball to get ahead, strike 1. Durham 0 for 2 and was in an 0-2 hole from Henkin last time when Henkin hit him.
And that's the mark of a good pitcher in Henkin after he gave up the home run to Bell, is to settle right back down and get 2 quick strikeouts of Baines and of Snopek.
On the appeal, did not go around.
And that's a signal that Jimmy Joyce has been frequently making today. Not wanting to call the check swing, and it wasn't a check swing, or it was a check swing. He did check the swing in time.
Ground ball up the first base line. Carter will wait for it and beat Durham to the bag, and the inning is over. But Henkin gives up a 2-run home run to Albert Bell, his first homer as a member of the White Sox, and he's brought Chicago back within a run. 5-4 Blue Jays heading to the bottom of the 8th. Thanks to the Albert Bell home run off Pat Henkin in the top of the 8th inning. Aside from the 1st and 8th, Henkin cruised 2 runs in the 1st, 2 runs in the 8th for the 1996 American League Cy Young Award winner, but his day appears to be done. Heading down the tunnel toward the Blue Jay clubhouse. As Sean Green fouls off the first pitch in the bottom half of the 8th, and that means more than likely Mike Timlin, 31 saves a year ago for the Blue Jays, will get his first shot at saving a game here in '97. Green, Gonzalez, and Nixon for the Blue Jays.
And to talk about Henkin again, Dan, he probably spoiled what he thought was a great performance by giving up the home run to Bell, but it was very solid. Being able to hold the White Sox scoreless for the middle innings and give his team a chance to get back into the ball game, which they so aptly did.
Alan Levine in relief of Chicago starter Jamie Navarro. Misses off speed to Green to even up the count at 2-2. Levine did a nice job in the 7th, allowing just a walk, and now faces the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Blue Jays here in the 8th as Green sends one down the left field line. Good distance, but well fouled. Green added contact lenses to his arsenal over the offseason. Said that last year, about midway from the mound to the plate, the ball would get a little fuzzy on him, which is, I would think, something that as a major league hitter you want to avoid at all costs.
Absolutely. He's really showing flashes of being a very good hitter into the near future.
Close pitch taken for ball 3. Green was a batting champion at the AA level hitting .344 now in his third full year at the major league level, and like Delgado, hoping to play every day against lefties as well as righties.
That's really a great sign right there, being able to fight off a pitch, which gives a lot of left-handers fits. His right in, a thigh-high fastball on the inner half of the plate, right in on the hands. And normally he would have made an attempt to try to pull that, and he was able to fight it off. So he's really widened the field for him, giving himself a chance to hit from.
And he took a pitch for ball 4. Device. They would have had a few more wild pitches. Last time up, Gonzalez hit a ground ball to the right side to move a runner along. Now he shows bunt, gets it down up the first base line. They'll let it roll foul.
Cito Gaston feeling that sacrificing in this situation to get that one more run to give Timlin just a two-run cushion to work with, as he's probably going to be, actually is going to be coming in to face the White Sox in the top of the ninth.
Gonzalez spent a lot of time yesterday doing some extra bunting work after the rest of the Blue Jays had hit. He tries again and gets it down this time, and that will move Green up to second. Sacrifice for Alex Gonzalez.
Well, we've seen Alex today hit a home run, move a runner over, and also sacrifice a guy. So it's a good job of hitting today for him.
So a runner in scoring position after the bunt by Gonzalez with a 1 out. And he gets the congratulations from his teammates in the third base dugout as Otis Nixon heads to the plate. An active day for Nixon. He's been on base 3 times. Green, the base runner, out at second, hoping to increase the Blue Jay lead to 2. Irvine misses for ball 1. Tomorrow night in the second game of the season, Roger Clemens will make his Blue Jay debut against Wilson Alvarez. Another great pitching matchup.
Boy, it's really going to be exciting to watch Toronto this year, where they have 3 #1 starters, basically, with Pat Henkin, Roger Clemens, and also Juan Guzman. And you can come up here for a 3-game series and go 0 for Canada.
Got a rousing rendition of Albert here, as Bell's popularity, or lack thereof, extends across the border without a whole lot of difficulty.
There's a face of intensity that he can carry through 162 games in Halloween, of course.
Now, don't go looking for trouble. 2-1. You ever deal with him at all as a player?
No, I haven't. I hear off the field he's a great guy. Just the reporters are around too close to game time and too close to after game time, and he's the type of guy that you really want to go to war with. I mean, he is ready to do his trade every single day.
As intense as any player in the majors. White Sox, between Tony Phillips and Albert Bell, might have 2 of the most intense players in the game.
Yeah, they get it wound up pretty tight.
Three balls and a strike to Nixon. And a chopper foul, full count. Nixon was the guy who was a member of the Atlanta Braves, bunted back to the mound, resulting in the Blue Jays winning their first World Series. He has bounced around through a half-dozen organizations, and for the first time in 4 years is now playing for the same team in consecutive years. That's a fair ball. Backhanded by Snopek. Nixon thrown out, and Green has to hold at second.
This is what the White Sox were hoping they were getting in a replacement for Ventura, was a good defensive player in Chris Snopek, and is a fine play, reminiscent of a Brooks Robinson type play, going to his backhand and making a fine throw as well.
2 down now for Carlos Garcia. Runner still out at second, 2 outs, and the Blue Jays try to up their lead. Levine not comfortable with how far Green was off the bag. Don't forget, behind us today, down to Miami, Gary Thorne and Buck Martinez, the Cubs and the Marlins. Kevin Brown, the scheduled starter for the Florida Marlins. What an outstanding season he had last year, despite the fact John Smoltz was the Cy Young Award winner. Garcia picked up an RBI his last time up when he reached out on what was designed to be a pitch out. Hit into a fielder's choice, brought a run in. Left center field. Hit pretty well. Back is Martinez, and he made up the ground to make the catch and prevent the Blue Jays from extending their lead. Garcia is 0 for 5 as he is denied a bid for extra bases by Dave Martinez. And because of the defense, we'll head to the 9th still in a one-run game. Mike Timlin in the game for the Blue Jays, the closer a year ago with 31 saves, trying to save it for Pat Henkin here on opening day in 1997.
There's never been any disputing Mike Timlin's arm strength and his stuff. He's got a fastball that he's going to ride in on the hands of right-handers, and he's also going to be able to sink it as well. I mean, he's got the type of stuff that he can carry for 2 to 3 innings at a time with a good breaking ball also. But for this, just needing to get 3 outs, it's just going to be powder baseball.
And a pinch hitter for the White Sox to lead off the 9th in place of Ron Karkovice. It'll be Norberto Martin. .350 average a year ago in 140 at-bats and a .328 hitter this spring. He has made the club as a utility player and to do this kind of thing. And he drives the first pitch from Timlin way back in left field. Tie game. A stunning turn of events on the first pitch of the 9th inning as pinch hitter Norberto Martin takes Mike Timlin deep, and this game is tied.
It was a first pitch slider, and it was hanging. And you would wonder why a guy who throws in the low to the mid-90s would start off the first hitter of the inning with a breaking ball. Probably just wanted to get him off the fastball. He didn't execute with it and left it up in the strike zone, and Martin knew what to do with it.
Not a bad way to debut the season for Martin. His smile says it all as the White Sox have clawed back to tie it up. Ozzie Guillen grounds it foul. Last year, Mike Timlin closed for a team that was a non-contender and admitted that that might be an easier way to break into the job. This year, he's going to be asked to close on a team that is expected to be in the race. Guillen pulls one down to first. Backhanded by Carter. The flip to Timlin in time, one down. Norberto Martin, all of last season, the Chicago White Sox had 1 pinch hit home run. They have matched that already in 1997. He doesn't smile a whole lot, does he, Mr. Bevington?
No, we were talking about intense guys. You might take Tony Albert and throw Mr. Bevington in there as well.
Here's Tony. Tony flips with a good day. Swing and a miss for strike 1.
96 miles an hour. That's getting it up there real nice.
He's the one guy that even his teammates in spring training, when they play live batting practice, they come back from the plate shaking their heads and their hands a lot of times.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder if you're throwing 96, 97 and the first batter of the inning you're facing is a pinch hitter, why you would want to throw in the slider, other than it's very easy to second guess if it's down and away or if it's a ball or if it's down and away for a strike or head in the count. Probably that's great, but since it was left out over the plate, it makes you want to wonder.
And should one more batter reach base for the White Sox this inning, Frank Thomas will get a crack at Timlin. The Amazingly enough, Thomas in his career is 0 for 10 with 5 strikeouts against Timlin, and he just might reach